Okay, so this video is going to go over the cellular organelles, and starting up here at the surface, we have the cell membrane, also known as the plasma membrane. In the center, the largest organelle here is the nucleus, this big one that's in purple on this model. Everything between the plasma membrane and the nucleus is known as the cytoplasm, including all of the organelles. Just the semi-solid, I call it the goo, that they're floating in is called the cytosol. All right, when looking at the nucleus, the outer covering is a double layered membrane, so it's 4 layers of lipids, and it is called the nuclear envelope. Within the nucleus, and the nucleus is what directs the entire cell, we have the small sphere here. This is the nucleolus. It's another organelle whose job it is to make ribosomes and to make proteins with the ribosome. We have this material here, which is the DNA in its most relaxed form. DNA and its proteins, when it is relaxed, is referred to as chromatin. Okay, so actually this nuclear membrane continues as a different set of organelles inside the cell. And you notice it comes in 2 varieties. There's one that just looks like a spread out version of the plain nuclear envelope. This is called the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and its job in the cell is to make lipids and carbohydrates. And then we have this other version which looks like the smooth, except there's an additional structure stuck to the outside. Looks like small bumps. These are ribosomes. This is another organelle that have been attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, and so we call this version of the endoplasmic reticulum the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now, ribosomes make proteins for the cell, and so these ribosomes, because they can't move around, they're called fixed ribosomes, and they're going to make proteins that this cell is going to secrete. We also have other ribosomes inside the cytosol, right in here. These and these are known as the free ribosomes, and they are going to make the proteins that are going to be used by this cell. Okay, so in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, we make the proteins that are going to leave, and then we send them over here to this organelle, which is known as the Golgi body, or Golgi apparatus, or just the Golgi is fine. Now, we kind of think of this guy as the UPS man, because he packages up anything that the cell is going to secrete and ship out. He packages it into a bubble called a vesicle. And then that vesicle can be passed into the cell, or it can go up to the surface and get secreted out. So these vesicles here that are leaving the Golgi would be called secretory vesicles, because they are secreting something from the cell. We also have these organelles here. They're kind of kidney bean or jelly bean shaped, and they have an internal membrane and an external membrane, and these particular organelles are called the mitochondria. A single one is a mitochondrion, and plural is mitochondria. And the job of the mitochondria, which we can see all over the place here, is to make ATP for the cell. So it creates power for the cell, energy. All right, we also have an organelle here to the side of the nucleus. I refer to it in class as the churro or the rigatoni, and is actually called the centriole. And the job of the centriole is to create the mitotic spindle during mitosis, which is the framework that lets us move the chromosomes around and separate them correctly. So that is just a brief summary of all of the cellular organelles.